Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the continued coverage of the Crescent City Cup from New Orleans, Louisiana. Matt Canik here on headset, once again joined by the great Nits Chagti. Good morning, Nits. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for calling me the great. It seems like I've been jinxing players left and right. So let's see.
Thanks.
Great jinx. I'm excited to see what I'm going to bring to the players today, or maybe Lady Luck in this case.
Perhaps Nits will be Lady Luck today. Perhaps she will be Lady Jinx once again. We'll see. Josh Sokol leads our CSW field. He's the only player at 7-1. Dave Wiegand is among four players at 6-2, trying to catch up to him. And I mean, if you've listened to any of the commentary at all from this weekend, Dave is always a beast at Scrabble, but especially in New Orleans. So a big win from Dave would blow this Collins field wide open. A win from Josh, he might start to run away with things, but we'll see. Lots of Scrabble to be played. ADFGHNP, the first rack for Dave. Let me make sure we get that door closed because my voice carries a lot. And we'll get underway. Nits, what do you think on this first turn?
Oh, I think Bing's already done what he was supposed to do. He's put down Fang on the board, keeping DF. I think this is as good as play as any. There is really no better option. Maybe he could just do Fang the traditional spelling with the F, but this is such a good play that there's no reason, I think, for him to reconsider.
Yeah, just Bang is a pretty straightforward play, and Dave showing us he agrees. He spent just 34 seconds pulling his tiles out of the bag, doing everything he needs to do, and getting it down. Pretty standard. Not a pretty standard rec here for Josh on the first turn. 6 vowels and a blank. Interesting. A-E-E-E-I-O blank. These racks are really fun to watch players fight through. Some players insta exchange here. Some players look to fight through A-I-N-E-E or the new A-E-I-N-I. Look to be the best options if you want to fight through. Nits, what are you thinking? Score 0, score 7, or something else?
That's a really good question. He's eyeing the AE on his rack. I wonder if he's thinking of exchanging maybe EEOI, but I think there's also a chance that he might play OGEE. But I like your initial suggestions of INE or ANA, ANA being the addition to this dictionary. I'm sure he's going to be able to spot it. But I also wonder if there's any good to playing off just OE. Like, that's such a weird fish. And if you draw into another vowel, you're really hurting, right? But like, maybe you hit into a lot of things. But I think I like OG slightly better.
Tough turn. Josh should take some time here. He should think of his options. Looks like he's set aside AE right now as well. Maybe he thinks that opens the board in a better way. One key consideration here, thanks to the chat for pointing this out, the 5 PHANG does have a sneaky front hook. Takes a U, up hang. Surely Dave has seen this. Josh hasn't, I think, studied all the Collins words, but up hangs would be a 7. I bet he's seen it once or twice. We'll see if that is a consideration later on in this game, the U hook in front, or maybe Josh wants to thwart it right now, block it.
I'm surprised that Josh is thinking about that right now because that uphang hook doesn't seem very dangerous to me right now, unless I guess you're starting a bingo with UN or something like that. OG is a really good play here. I think he's identified a really good spot for himself. I like it even better than INA. And on to Bing to take advantage of this U, which is going to give him 32 points, but he does not have, I mean, he's far from a bingo or anything that hits that double. And I'm sure we're going to see him spot up hang just any second now.
VRX, the pull for Josh into AEI blank. So OG is a gambit that seems to have worked. And this just got very interesting because Dave's best play KUFI and up hang. It's very standard. The only big pause with that play is it seeds big counters to the Q and the X. Now, you would never think Josh is holding those tiles after the 5-point OG. He's clearly holding some vowels and blank S or something bingo prone, but Josh just drew the X. Dave's going to feel very safe setting up QX spots. He's going to feel safe playing Goofy. And then I wonder if Josh is going to play XI or if he's just going to bingo next turn.
I also wonder if Dave is going to play Fudge. He had FUDG set to the side, and now he's looking at Fug. So I wonder if there's a chance that he's not going to play Kufi, which he has identified. I don't know why he would choose not to do so unless he's reading a tell from Sokol that, I mean, we can't see from here. But if Kufi does in fact go down, Josh Sokol is going to be able to come back with Exuvia for 92 points using his blank, which, I would hope that he chooses to burn in this case.
Oh my goodness, Exuvia burning the blank is a non-bingo for 92. That's sick. Uh, One other option that's actually simming ahead of everything we've mentioned so far is KIGHT. Um, KIGHT. Through the H in Fang, it holds the U for next turn and kind of sets up the F. So that's simming 1 point ahead. Spidey Sense is going off for Dave. He's bypassing Kufi and the big Exuvia that it would seed. He's playing Fug here. Huge swing in this game.
I think that's a really good play. I mean, he's identified the two top plays here. Fug and Kufi would have been great. I think Kite through the H would have also been great, keeping FUD for later. But Fug, a good as play as any here. So great job on Bing's part. Varric's coming down now for Sokol pretty quickly. Good on him for having identified his highest scoring X spot because Kufi would have, it would have given him the insane 92-point Exuvia, but here he has to settle for the 44, keeping E blank, a great leave. And I think maybe even Vax could have been, or Axe could have been a great play here, instead of uh, putting that R out in space. But you know what? He's so much more likelier to bingo here that I think it's fine.
All right, so Dave playing very quickly out of this rack. Bankit holding ND. Easily the top option. And Dave, again, the machine he is, wasting no time. We got another Benji sighting, BENJY, plus a T and a blank now on Josh's rack. And uh,
We might actually see Benj come down. We might actually see that coming down from either the E of OG or the word itself on top of Bankit, making BIET and BENG. But I think a better play here for Sokol, as he's going to identify pretty quickly, I think, well, maybe not super quickly, but I really do expect Josh Sokol to be able to see this, is Jenny, JENNY, through the N of uphang. And I say this because not just because Josh Sokol is at the top of the standings, but he's one of the more creative players that I think I've seen. He's really up there with the way that he can visualize the board. And I mean, I will say that as an intermediate player, I think one of the most helpful things that Josh Sokol has ever said on one of his streams is that, when you have these tiles in front of you, it's not always a great idea to take a look at, the tiles and try to form a word and fit that on the board. Instead, what you want to do is you want to look at the board and decide what you want the board to do, like how you want it to develop over time. And in this case, I mean, I think he's gonna scan the board, he's gonna find a good spot, and I think he's really likely to spot Jenny.
yeah, Josh should be able to spot Jenny through that end, and it is the top option for him. I think a lot of players, rush this turn, and it's easy to fall into a trap of rushing this turn. You see Benj, and it just feels very natural to play that in one of the two spots. Both of them are very solid plays, but when you see a good play, find a better one. That's Scrabble 101. That's all a cliche among the community at this point, and we'll see if Josh sees it. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
I mean, I think it's a really good sign that he hasn't instantly played bench, right? Like, I feel like he's still looking for a good spot. Maybe he's looking for a space where, his B can come off. Maybe his J goes for even more points than bench would. Bench, BENG from his rack would be 34 points on top of Bankit. And I think he's gonna look for that spot. I'm sure he's identified that OX can be um uh, it can be enticing. I would like to see Jenny go down.
Well, we'll see if you get what you want, Nits. I know you'd like to see Jenny go down. Josh would like to see Jenny go down. He doesn't maybe know it yet, but that's his best play here. Crushing a sim, 4 points ahead of everything else. Not super hard to spot. But I don't know. Sometimes at this tournament, people aren't quite firing on all cylinders all the time based on the decisions they made the day before. And I mean, last night there were after hours games going on in the lobby until I don't even know how late. I couldn't stay up that late anymore. I can't hang with these new young kids, but got to like 1 a.m. There were still boards out. And Benj is coming
Okay.
down. So I think that it's possible Josh is passing Jenny strategically because he likes how this sets up the Y, but I'm pretty sure this is just a miss from him.
That may be possible. I think that is a distinct possibility here. And Dave has identified his best play. I mean, when you look at the tiles that he's got WUZ off to the side. You know he's going to want to play those off. And Fugu is an incredible little hook on this board. And that hook is going to allow Dave Wiegand to play was for 31 if he chooses to do so right now. I think he could also just take that ox spot. He can actually play something like Dawn or even on over there for a lot of points. And look at him, he's got the tile set off to the side. He's got DAW off to the side. I think he's seen the spot. I think he's considering it.
Why should he play Don there, Nits?
I really like him taking off that spot. You know, it's like the high scoring spot. He's got a U. He can use that later. He doesn't have to rush into using the Z. The Z is a pretty good tile in Collins. I mean, he is going to go for his points here, but I don't think, you need to worry about keeping a U here because there's very much a hook that's probably not going to be used up in the next turn.
Don was a Z setup. Don was a clever little Z setup because of the way it places the A there. And that's why it was a clever little option. But WUZ taking out that Fugu spot is also really good. Dave saw the setup, he thought about it. And I think if he had been guaranteed to play next turn, if he had kept a 3 tile combination that guaranteed to hit the spot if it wasn't blocked, he would have pulled the trigger. But I think this is wise from Dave,
Do you
actually.
think
Pull it back.
Sokol might also like just sniff it out that this setup probably wouldn't work because Josh Sokol would be able to see that there's something fishy going on there?
That's a good question. And that is one that I think we we'll get an answer to if we cut to overhead mic after this game. Those are the decisions that players love to think about. And Dave showed us that he saw Don, he thought about it, he pulled it out. I bet it comes up in the post game commentary. I bet Dave asked Josh about it, if I had to guess. Let's go back to the game at hand, though. Josh with a really interesting rack. Why PET blank blank, two Ys, two blanks, and Josh is
And
going to be put to the test here. Nits, tell us why.
but he's okay. So there's two things here, right? He saved that Y, but Benji, Benjy, is not a word. That is a homophone, I think, for is that the word? So it's a homophone for bungee, Bunjy. So it can be like very easily confused. He did keep that Y. I hope he wasn't hoping to set that up over there. And instead, now he's gonna have to play his bingo sin type, which he's very much identified. It's on his rack. He's gonna play that with EF, and that's gonna be 93 points.
Are you sure,
Or
Nix? Are you sure he's going to play that?
or he's gonna choose not to. He's about to play Pesty, I believe, for 46, keeping Y blank. I'm a little surprised that he's giving up so many points. It feels quite clearly that Sin type is the best play here, even though it opens up that really scary triple triple. It is 93 points. And I don't know about you, Matt, but I would consider this a mistake.
Would you now, Nits? Because you're correct. Yeah, that's easily,
You had me
easily.
so scared. I was like, oh
It,
my God, I'm being put on the spot.
no, no, no. I mean, yes, that's clearly a blunder from Josh. But I mean, sin type is a hard word, and 5 point challenge against Dave Wiegand, you have to be 100% on a word like that. Pesty is a reasonable backup if you're not going to play the bingo, but there is an even better non-bingo available. It's a rather obscure Collins only 5 that doesn't compare. Yesty, Yesty. If you're going to make that play, you need to play Yesty and not Pesty. So missed the bingo, missed the best backup bingo. But I mean, switching to Collins, learning it is tough. It's a huge chunk of words to learn at once. And it seems like Josh showing a little bit of rust. It's funny that you mentioned Benji, the phony back hook, because I've literally played Benji
Oh
at this tournament,
no.
Benjy. My opponent laughed when I put it down, but I legitimately thought it was a word. I hit my clock, and then my opponent's like, wait, that's not a joke. And I'm like, no. And then he's like, okay, then I challenge. And I'm like, oh. And then I won the game anyway, so it doesn't matter.
There you
What
go.
happens in New
And
Orleans,
I
baby?
think that's why, it's so great to have a commentary team. I think we're just constantly catching each other like, oh, this is a conversation, and I really like that we get to go back and forth. But oh, but did you spot this? And oh, did you spot that? And oh, how about this? That is why, I think this is just a great team. So I'm glad you guys are already bringing this up in the chat. Ond a really good play. I think Dawn also would have been really nice here. What do you think about Ond, Matt?
Sick. I mean, that's a play you must find.
Fantastic find.
But those are tricky to spot. But that's sick. Added is not quite as good in that spot, but it's huge that Dave found that play. And man, a lot of players don't notice that.
I will say though, I would have preferred him playing added, and here's why. I think we don't penalize duplicates enough right now. And what has happened in the recent calculations that have been made through software like Macondo, this is work that has been done by Josh Castellano, John O'Loughlin, and Cesar de Solar. And there's new calculations about what tiles we should be keeping, we should be prioritizing. And it does appear in the newer calculations, in the newer algorithm, that keeping duplicates is really, really, really bad. And we're going to see more of these calculations be available on Woogle's, a reverse crossword gaming website, soon. We're going to find that these are some considerations that we need to be making for the future. I think being I personally think that he should have played added instead of on.
There you go. Nits telling Dave Wiegand how to play Scrabble.
Are you
But
gonna call
Nits,
it?
Nits, you're right because Dave kept those duplicates, and you see what he drew
Oh my
AAIII, all
gosh.
because Dave didn't make the play you would have made. If Dave had kept the W and the N, his rack would still be absolutely terrible, but he would have fewer points. So,
Yeah. Do you
uh,
think Josh here just has to play off NY, make Zany, just get rid of it?
yes, yeah.
Does that
Well,
have to be it?
I don't know that that has to be it. There's a really solid 5 OCTYL and YO on the right side of this board, knocking out that triple word, and that's a very good option for Josh here too. But
Right.
this is a turn where he's going to make a statement. Do I want to kind of shut this board off on that side? YO has no front hooks, or do I want to take away that big ZA back hook because Dave could threaten 40 or 50 points there with
Right.
most racks. Now
And
Dave doesn't have anything there, but Josh doesn't know that.
yeah, he's gonna be able to come back with Zyda if Zany does not come down, and so like if Octal comes down, I think Bing could come back with Zeta, or if Zany comes down, then I guess just Ida to the side of uh, the pesty spot, like making YA, perhaps something like that, or maybe Bing just exchanges. I don't know, but still on Josh's turn here. I don't want to get ahead of myself. This is definitely a very tough position to be in. You've held on to this blank for a while. You even drew into the second blank. You want to make sure that you're going to bingo soon. The board is getting close. Like bench does not have a hook. You would have to play through the I of Bankit, and that's not a lot of points. Or you could play to the R of Varix, but you have to make sure like it's like an ERORIR word. I guess that's still doable. It's harder and harder to bingo on this board, and Josh really needs to keep that in mind as he's playing through these tiles.
Oh man, yeah, just a lot of good options here for Josh. Zany is really good. Octil is really good. There's also the high scoring RYOT from the R in Varix, which is very good. But so much of this is just how does he want to construct this board for the long haul?
Right.
He is down 30, but he's on turn with a blank in tow. He's maybe a slight favorite, if not a coin flip, to win this game. And when you're shaping the board, you always want to think about that kind of stuff. Am I more likely to win or more likely to lose? I don't know what the right play is. Josh doesn't know either. He's using a lot of time on this turn, and you
Yeah,
should use a lot of time on a turn
absolutely.
like this. Octil versus Zany, I'm sure, is what he's deliberating.
I feel like he has to go with Zany, right? Like he has to hope that he can put Zany on the board. He's not going to give Bing back, too many points. It like he wants to, if possible, keep that column open for himself just in case Dave isn't able to use it. Like say for example, Dave Wiegand chooses to play a raid RAID underneath Bankit, through the R that's in Varix. Maybe if he plays that, then Josh still has a chance to bingo to that column to the side of Pesty. So is he going to take that chance? Oh wow, it appears he is. He is going to take that chance. Good on him.
I think it's just there's so many points that can happen in so many ways with that ZA back hook, and Ond doesn't look like a setup that's a forced play in most instances. But yeah, good on Josh to take that spot away. I think that was the right MO out of that turn. As I said, with options like that, you get to choose board construction, and the board construction I would choose if I was Josh is take away the spot where my opponent can, without even thinking, score 48 points like almost all the time. Now Dave, Aaddii, an extra full house, I guess. Is that what we call these? And he'll be able to play out of it if he wants to, and I think he's going to here. The big question is how does he do it? As Nits mentioned, RAID from the R in Varix, or ADIT to the T in Pesty. Both score 27 points, but maybe you want to play a few more tiles. KADAI down from the K is 20, and that sheds one more vowel. We'll see how Dave chooses to approach here. I think I'd score the points, but I'm not
I
sure.
don't know, right? Because okay, so here's the thing. He knows that Josh Sokol has just played his blank with Pesty for like 46 points. That's a little insane. I feel like the P, the Y, the E, the Yep could have maybe gone somewhere else on the board for enough points. I feel like he must be thinking, why would he use that blank for such few points? Like if you use a blank, you maybe want to score like 50 points, right? Like there's a part of him that's, I hope, seeing that, okay, Josh has now played off two tiles, maybe he's going to get these spidey senses that say, I have to block, column O, I have to play Ida, I have to, like get that spot out of the way. But then, as you mentioned, like maybe he just needs to score here. But I mean, the game is neck and neck. It is 154 for Dave Wiegand and 156 for Josh Sokol. I think maybe he wants to do, um, maybe he wants to do damage control. Maybe he wants to make sure that, oh, like AIA maybe doesn't score as much, but keeps a better consonant vowel leave. I don't know. I feel like Ida would be better if he does play that on the O column.
Ida on the O column makes sense. Kadai down from the K, but I think we're going to see Dave take the points here. It's a tough. Oh, he set up Dioxid, Dioxid.
Nice.
That's a good option too, but I mean, holding AAI and opening up the big E back hook for Dioxide, you don't want to open up hooks in a close game if you don't have them. But this rack is so bad and so inflexible. I don't. Dave doesn't want to play Dioxid here. I don't know that he should either. Not without an E or an
Mm.
S on his rack. There's so many E's, so many S's unseen. The pool is really tasty, honestly. Oh, I'd be scared to play
Ugh.
Dioxid.
I mean, I don't know. So, Matt, what would you do here? Do you think you'd go for the points, or do you think you're going to do some board control? I
I'd
mean,
do
Raid
this.
is, it's
Yeah.
a really good scoring play. It's, I think, his highest scoring play for 27 points.
I think I would do this. I mean, it's hard to pull the trigger on any play, and it's hard to be confident on any play on that turn. It was really challenging, but I think I would do this. That's what I said 2 minutes ago. I thought Dave would take the points here eventually, and that's what we saw. And now we're going to see Josh take a bunch of points. CELOTU blank is a great pull.
I feel
He'll
like you
have
might be in David Wiegand's just head, Like I feel like you were able to call so many things about it. And I'm like, why do you know that? How do you know this?
Nits. I'm a top Scrabble player, and I know how top Scrabble players think. So it's my job to tell people what they're thinking. I do this. I mean, I do this all the time.
Okay, all right. Love to see you, at the top of the standings.
Yeah, that's,
Commentator.
that's my job. It's my job. Tell you what they're thinking and why they're thinking, and sometimes I do it all right. Other times I do it really, really wrong, and it's fun either way. Uh, Dave is not going to think on this turn. He's going to play QI in the top corner.
He
Even Nits could
better.
call that.
Hey.
Just kidding. Just kidding. He
I
might
take
actually.
offense to that.
Hang
First
on.
of all, I might play Cade with octupled. That's what I might do, and I'm about to call Dave Wiegand's play, which I think is going to go on the board. Thank you very much.
Ooh, dueling commentators. I like QI in the top and save the D for octupled later. You like cashing it now. What is Dave Wiegand going to do? Let's find out, Nits. Who's the real alpha commentator?
Let's
He
find out
might
who's a
actually
real
play
alpha.
Cade. Cade is a
Well,
good play too.
okay, here's the thing, you guys. So Matt and I yesterday we were regaled with tales from like Nashville and like the middle of Utah, and we heard some things because of which we are now completely and truly bonded. I feel that that kind of friendship just that it cannot be broken, and I think that has elevated our commentary for today and our partnership because of the things that we have become aware of, and the trauma that we share now from these stories that we have learned. I will say this though. What stays in New Orleans, what happens in New Orleans stays in New Orleans. And that Matt Canik has an incredible wit for very bad jokes.
Oh yeah, yeah. The guests in the hot tub made some off-color jokes, so I showed him how unhinged we can truly be. Let him have it
We,
all, held nothing
sir,
back.
you got them immediately.
Oh yeah, I can make any jokes I want in a hot tub in New Orleans. Nobody's gonna judge me, as you said. What
Only a,
happens
oh,
in New Orleans? Oh, Dave is gonna play QIAD.
oh my god, oh
All
my god,
right,
he's playing
Nits.
QI. God
All
damn
right.
it.
Who's getting the raise? It's
Okay,
Matt
fine.
Canik, everybody, not Nits. Alpha commentator status
Oh my
cemented.
gosh. Okay, okay, okay,
All right,
okay.
all right.
I'll have a
Question
call.
me one more time, Nits. I
I'll have a
promise.
I'll have a call eventually. One of these days. I'll get
We're,
there.
we're still yeah, we're getting you trained up, Nits.
Okay, you know what? You know what? He's definitely gonna play AUA. He's got it, right? He's got it. Come on, come on, come on. He's got it. Guys, you help me out
But
here.
where's he gonna play AUA? You have to tell
Um
me where.
oh
Is it
with
there?
a oh no.
You didn't
God
think he
damn
was
it.
gonna play it there, did you?
But I feel like he's gotta. Well, no, I mean he's ahead a little bit. I don't think he needs to. Never mind. I didn't think this through.
And look, because Dave held the D, he's gonna be able to play co-head and octupled this turn for a whole bunch of points.
Good God. Okay.
Uh,
You think he's gonna play something like something like co-head?
Either co-head or there's the nice Collins 5 HOIED. That's what the verb inflection of HOI, right? So,
I think so.
but I would much look at that unseen pool. Look how many bingo prone tiles are in it. AEs, I's, L's, T's, R's, S's. Like bingos are so likely to happen for the rest of this game. And if you look at Josh's rec too, he's got egalite set up. You don't want to play Hoyd here. You want to play co-head. When the pool looks like that, you need to play bingo defense. You need to put the C in space. Dave's going to play co-head and octupled.
Hmm.
Or he
I
might
might agree.
stack beneath Awa, but I think he's going to play co-head and octupled.
Interesting. What if he does Chow instead? Like to the A of Awa? I mean, think of that, right? Like he keeps that D. It's not going to score him as much because that lane's going to be a little obstructive. What if he does CHIO through the A of Awa?
That would be a terrible play, and the reason it would be a terrible play is because there are 4 unseen S's and Chow takes a back S. You should not set up an S hook that you
That you
don't
do not
have when
have.
there are
We've learned
4
this
unseen
from
S's and a
Eric
ton of bingo
Goldstein.
prone stuff. Now,
Here's the
we,
thing, though. Psychological warfare. We have
yep,
seen this
yep.
on the stream with a lot of success. So you know, maybe it'll be nice to see that come down. Any
Well,
spot for
how
Eagle
do
Eye? Yes, there is a spot for Eagle Eye. There we go. So Sokol's just gonna
Oh
bingo
yeah,
next time. We're fine.
it still fits EF.
Yeah.
My man, and Josh's or Dave Wiegand's QI turn. I wanted to go over and talk about QI and IF for a second. See if it was 1 point sacrifice, but it knocked that line out. Dave chose to keep it open, and he should
Oh,
have, given the game state. It was the
very
correct move.
defensive.
But if he had
Hmm.
played QI in the defensive spot,
I
okay,
feel
I'll
like would he
stop.
do
I'll
that?
stop.
Because I mean, so he was behind at that point, right? Like, I mean, is he gonna go ahead and play defensive when he's was he going to go ahead with a score of QI? After QI, he's still behind by 20. So I don't know if he
Yeah,
was going
yeah.
to do that.
No. He played it right. He's supposed to play the aggressive open placement that he did. But it's just these thought experiments in Scrabble are infinite. Where well, if I had played defense, then I'd be winning now. People do this all the time. Anyway,
But right, yeah.
the
So
longer I look at this position, the less I like the play of co-head because Dave is still going to be down. He's going to be down by 1 point after it. Josh is going to be on turn, so he's closing the board, and he's not in good shape. So maybe he's actually not going to put that C out in space. He might have to take a
you
calculated
know,
gamble.
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
okay,
he's
so he
looking.
might go with Hoyd. I feel like Hoyd is not bad because I mean he gets that many chances. He gets like one more shot at maybe drawing an S. That pool does look good. He can possibly draw bingo. There is that line that's next to F. He could he could possibly play, something to the well, he's not going to be able to play to the side of Octuple, but he could make hours, like if he draws one of those S's, there's so many out. Like he can still bingo or maybe play through the Y. If anyone's going to find a word through the Y, it's going to be David Wiegand, you know?
This is a
So
really big turn. I
this is
mean,
tough.
co-head feels so natural to me. Like, depending on my mood, I would have played that in 4 seconds in this situation. But you have to think both about the short and long-term dynamics of this board and how you think this game is going to go. If you make the very defensive play here, there's a chance that you just get walled in permanently. both H's have been played, so it's impossible to get out after co-head. You can't make the CH overlaps. So Dave has to know that if he plays co-head, we're going into the trenches here, and he's going to have one shot maybe to draw bingo, front hooking the F and Fugu, and that's going to be it. I
So
don't. Go ahead.
here, well, I mean, so here's why I like co-head, right? Okay, so if he does co-head and he's, drawing into possibly a bingo, he has like okayish chances, not as great of a chance as with Chow or with Hyoid or with Hoyd. He is still obstructing Sokol's capacity to get a lot of points there. Instead, I think if he does something like Hoyd, yes, his bingo percentage goes up. That's a pretty good leave, but also I think he gets hit back also. I mean, he's probably thinking about, okay, what is Josh Sokol going to come back with? Now, he doesn't know that Josh is just going to bingo here. He doesn't know that there's going to be a completely new, threat that's going to be on this board. And it wouldn't even be a threat for him because he's going to be able to just play through it. And now that I think about it, I think Hoyd maybe not the best play here because it's 6 points fewer than Cohead. And I think maybe he's thinking every point matters here. Maybe that he needs to keep the scoring pressure on so that he can withstand, like, so he doesn't need to always bingo. Oh, so Hyoid does come down. That's incredible. That's
Interesting.
incredible.
Hyoid.
That's his highest chance of bingoing. So ACE is such a great leave, and he's given himself this chance to bingo. He's still got hours. He's still got underneath hyoid. He's got EF. Well, now he doesn't have EF. That's incredible.
Hyoid. Interesting turn. Interesting decision. Plays the D instead of cashes it in. Leaves that spot with octuples and octupled available with 4 unseen S's. And here comes Egalite. Oh, not a good pull from Dave, but because he made the decision to play Hyoid, this board is now wide open, and he's going to have chances to go fishing for whatever he needs.
I like what he's done. I like what he's done for himself here. I like that he's kept his board open.
Yeah, man. Okay, looking at Hyoid like one turn later, it already feels like a really smart move from Dave. Again, like as I've learned from commentating, don't ever question what Dave does. Just understand why it's right after he does it. And okay, Hyoid feels like all of a sudden he's got a bunch of different ways to win. He can still fish for 95 or 100 point octuples, bingos. He's got a triple triple line open. He can open another triple triple line this turn with playing down from the H or something like that. Like Dave is still very much alive because he kept the board open. He didn't play co-head. He didn't slam things shut. Ah, man, Dave is a good,
Oh
good,
my
good
gosh,
Scrabble
here's
player.
the thing though. Josh Sokol has a triple triple next turn, and now it's up to Dave Wiegand to decide where he is going to play. He could possibly play, to the left of Iglet. Maybe he could play to the right of it. Maybe he could play something like Tomo, Tomo, to the right, making Etgoam and Lo. Maybe he would play to the left of it. But I don't think either of those plays like in a vacuum are the best ones here. Like, I mean, so here's the thing. So Josh Sokol has drawn 7 random tiles. There could be anything on his rack. So I don't know if Dave's first priority is going to be to block that triple triple lane, especially since he's behind right now. I think there's a chance that he won't even play there and he's gonna get hit back with a triple triple. And then it's GG.
Yeah, what an incredible post bingo drop from Josh Sokol. I've been saying you make your own luck in Scrabble, and he whipped some up there. DEI and RST out of the bag after you put an E in the triple triple, and Dave's got coup meat on his rack. That was a huge swing, huge draw.
Wow.
And yeah, Dave cannot block the triple triple in this game state unless he's just choosing to give up and keep spread in tow. Maybe that's actually what he chooses to do here. I don't know. You have to ask yourself if you make these plays along the bottom of the board, or if you try to make a different opening, can you even actually win, or will Josh just slam that triple? But yeah, I thought Dave was going to do something like this. You got to open yet another line.
Yeah.
Hope you get really lucky. Hope Josh doesn't. But I said this 3 turns ago. The entire unseen pool is just bingo tiles. Everybody's going to draw great the rest of this game.
I
And
think Moo, like underneath hyoid OMIO and DO would have been so nice here. I think Ku is also just a great, great, great play. So like congratulations to Bing for finding that. And it sucks that he's being tripled on and laughing about it. Oh my god, what a great guy. Love him.
Yeah, I mean that happens in Scrabble sometimes, and when it happens, it happens. But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Dave had to leave that triple triple open. I don't think Dave missed Moo in the bottom. I think
I
Koo was
think
an
who's a better play, yeah.
whenever
Yeah.
Dave picks one over the other and they're obvious. I just say that the one Dave picked is better.
Yeah.
He's got galaxy brain reasons I don't even understand. He always does.
That was, I mean, that was an incredible find on his part. Here, though, I mean, what does he even do? What does he even do? Does he just play fact through the sea that he just put out in space? I mean, is he gonna fish? What do you even do here? This is
The
insane.
the
I
game's
mean,
over. He's down by over 200 points. Just make
yeah,
a
but
play,
like,
play
here's the thing,
fact.
right? Like, I feel like he could still slow it down. You know, like I feel like maybe there's a argument to be made for, okay, let's just play two tiles. Let's just keep this as slow as possible. Let's still maybe find a chance to do something and stem that, you know, that loss of spread. Maybe he can't win this game. Maybe he can't come back after that triple triple because it was 149 points and he is 200 like 16 points behind or whatever. But he can definitely still do something for his spread.
Yeah, I mean, Dave's decision is actually huge here. Josh just drew into Raveler, which plays in exactly one spot on the bottom of this board for 100 points in the line Dave just opened. So if Dave decides, I'm taking one more swing, I'm playing OF at the top underneath Nerdiest, keeping mates and trying to bingo, he's going to get pulverized.
Oh my
But he
god.
can't know that either.
Like,
Fact is the equity play, but if you want to try to win
oh.
the game, you're going to play OF and get pulverized.
But if he plays fact, there's traveler.
Oh my god, Traveler's
There's
even more
traveler
points.
there.
What the? Josh has these super cosmic powers, man. He drew Tinders out of
Yeah.
the bag and then he drew Raveler. And even if Raveler gets blocked, he's just going to have Traveler. That's not
Oh, look at
real.
it.
That's not real
He's at a.
life.
Oh my god, he's looking at fact.
Yeah.
He's totally looking at
Fact
fact,
is
right?
fact is probably the right
Or is he
play.
looking at fat? Is he looking at
Look, Josh
IF
is
and
just going to
fat?
laugh
Nope.
again. Watch Josh's face. Watch Josh's face here as he realizes what's going to happen. You blocked?
Oh
Oh,
my god, look at him.
oh,
He's
wait.
shaking his head.
Yeah, he already knows. He's already seen it.
Look at him.
Unbelievable. You didn't even block.
That's
Josh is going to play this right
crazy.
now. He's going to count first. Yeah, let me make sure I don't bingo out. And one tile in the bag after he bingos. He's allowed to do this without even
103
thinking.
points for
This is
traveler. He's not about to miss this. Look at him.
do your paperwork. He had to count first. There's 8 tiles in the bag from his POV. You don't want 7 in the bag. You don't want to bingo and then empty the bag and get bingoed out. But Josh is up by so much he can survive it.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
don't know. The longer he
So
waits, the
rough.
less likely it is that he's seen it so
Oh,
far. Oh,
he's
he's
totally
just
seen
double
it.
checking
Yeah, yeah,
Kraken.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet he's seen it. Yeah. Oh my God, what a game. Wait, did you call that Bing would win this? Wait. Because then you are no longer alpha commentator. Because if you did pick him, you guys, we have to go back and clip this, right? Like if he did it, if he did guarantee that Bing would win this, then we are taking you to school, sir.
I said that during sound check before we were live. It doesn't count.
It doesn't
Christian asked me
count.
to say something to test the mic, and I just said deadpan, I guarantee Dave Wiegand will win this game. But that was before we were live. The guarantees only apply when we're live here on Twitch and when y'all have to listen to my blathering. So, yeah, no, alpha commentator status still in tow here.
It's okay. I'm willing to share. I'm willing to share my alpha status. It's okay. I've been
Did
doing
Dave
this
play
for many
Cade?
years.
Did Dave play Cade? Nope, Dave played Chi.
First of all, just because I'm not Dave Weekend's mind reader doesn't mean that I am not your elder here. Oh my God,
You're
Traveler
not
coming
my
down.
elder.
Well, I've been doing this for longer than you have.
You have been doing this for long.
Yeah,
Well, I've been
there we
playing
go.
Scrabble for longer than you, kid.
Hey,
And I'm
first of
old.
all, fine. You've been playing Scrabble for longer than I have. It's not my fault you're an oldie. You
Yeah.
know, it's okay.
I'm an old man. I'm the old curmudgeon. Yeah, there comes Traveler. God,
The old
forgive
curmudgeon
me.
who knows like all the worst jokes and instantly gets like all of the what is it, the punchlines? Insane.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I taught high school. I've heard all the bad jokes, every single one.
I've taught college level kids, and I'm convinced that they can't read. So I don't know if they know any jokes.
They can read pickup lines on Tinder, and that's it. It says
Oh
the
my God, they're
extent of
kids.
their attention span. That's
Oh,
the new
okay.
generation. All right,
What
580 to
is
300.
what
God,
is
I'm
Bing
not
to
even
do
going to
here?
try to offer commentary here,
This
guys.
is
Even
rough.
Dave Wiegand cannot come back from this deficit,
What do you
unfortunately.
do? I mean,
I don't
good
care.
God. I mean, you may
You
not care,
lose.
but like I'm here for Bing, you know,
All
like I'm
right.
here to watch his excellence. I want to see what he's about to do.
All right. Let
Oh
me
my
tell you
God.
what Dave is thinking
You
about
tell me
then.
what You tell me what Dave is thinking
Dave
about.
is looking at the unseen pool. He's playing against the luckiest dude he's ever played against, and there are several bingos possible that actually play. He has to cover if Josh has moolies, Moolies, that plays with octuples. He has to cover osmoles if the I is in the bag. Josh has osmoles and OR as an out bingo. Josh could have molossi, Mollossi, if the E is in the bag. Josh could have limoses or smoils.
Like
Um,
limousines? Like,
Limoses. I don't know what that word
I
is,
don't know.
but
I was
if
like a
anyway,
limousine? Anyway.
what I'm trying to say is if the S is in the bag, if the I is in the bag, if the E is in the bag, if the O is in the bag, or if the M is in the bag, Josh has an out bingo right now, and Dave
He's
has to cut. Go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah. Oh, he's totally gonna do it. He's totally gonna do it. I mean, this is
What is
Dave
he gonna
Wiegand,
do?
right? Okay, so
What
I'm
is he gonna
pretty
do?
sure he's gonna. Hey, hello, sir. First of all, we're putting you in timeout. Second of all, I think he's gonna just play under Awa, right? So Awa takes the S. He has to block that. He has to make sure that there's no word there that's gonna like play the S and get to the double. He has to block the octuples hook. So I think something like Rhymer, Rimer, might be fine here, making UMAE and Rhymer basically. I feel like that might work. Is that true? Is that the case? Because
No.
JAI doesn't take an S.
That might be true, but you have to cover osmoles as well.
You can't do osmoles, yeah.
Osmoles plays with OR, and so
I
you
think
can't
that's
just stack
the
underneath AWA. You also have to block osmoles. You have to figure out every single
I
possibility that
don't
Josh can.
think there's a I feel like he has to calculate where the most of the bingos go, right? Because like there's definitely an unblockable bingo, right? If you think about it, like the bingos are going to AWAs and octuples, and they're also going above Traveler, right? I don't know if there's a
If you play
unless you play
through
through
the
the
A,
A. Unless you
or
play through
yeah,
the
if
A,
you or
yeah.
you use AWA takes an S, right, in Collins.
Yeah, it does,
So
yeah.
there are ways to block
Okay, let's
everything.
oh,
This is a
interesting.
way to block everything.
This is interesting.
Right. So Dave, that's what Dave was
Does he
thinking of.
have an out?
He has an E. He's going to draw one tile. He's going to go out for sure next turn. This got to be correct. This is yeah. Yeah, this is what Dave needed to do. He needed to block every single line. He didn't need to stack underneath AWA. He needed
Is
to
there
block
anything that's
everything
gonna
at
play through
once.
the R though? That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
It would be sick if
Interesting.
this gave back some kind of disconnected nine or something, but nothing's there.
Okay.
Josh is going to have a really high scoring play at the top of this board if he sees it. He's got 43 points available, and then Dave's going to go out. Josh, if he finds this play, he's going to drop a 623 on Dave
Good
Wiegand
God.
in New Orleans. And you know what that means when Dave has a 623 dropped on him in New Orleans? It means he's going to win the tournament. Heard it here. Alpha commentator. I said it. It's happening.
I'm glad that you're here to enlighten us with the 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 Bing prophecy. I think it was written into stone before we came here.
It was written into stone as soon as I said it out loud. Dave's going to come back and win the tournament now that Josh has dropped. We'll see. He has the opportunity to make this 623 if he finds the high scoring SMEES in the top right of this board through the E in Pesty.
As Chad has now said, moment of silence for Dave's next opponent
Oh,
because
God.
there's going to be some vengeance that we see on the board. Or maybe we don't see on the board. Maybe there will be other amazing players that we are also going to highlight during our time here. Day two, everyone, of the Crescent City Cup. We are live from New Orleans. We are on site for this commentary. We get to hang out with all of our favorite people and players, and we get to see this live. I hope you guys are having a great time. Thank you so much for being in the chat and for, giving your input and your insight and for, laughing with us and making fun of, the plays and the draws with us. So it does appear that Jar Sokol does not see his sneeze play, but he is about to play MOE. Interesting.
All right, so Josh is not going to get to the 623, and I think that's kind of a fitting end to this game. Josh didn't play the most precise Scrabble. Dave Wiegand played absolutely lights out from what I saw, but Josh had several key draws, and so his blunders didn't end up mattering all that much. And that's going to be it for this one as Wiegand goes out with LEE. Josh dropping a 607. Let's cut to that mic and see if we get any commentary here.
Thank you for playing. I had Y blank. Yeah, it has to be the plank.
Tell me if you see any 8s with Y point.
Sin type 7.
Oh, sometimes. Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Doesn't score a ton though.
It's probably worth it though. Scores pretty well here.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he's sometimes. Don't worry, that wasn't the only thing. I cannot believe. So you're playing A instead of O, and then you're playing like. I'm like, where the fuck are the O's?
Where were the S's too?
I thought you were like, oh, it's saying the S. I should block. So
Yeah, I
insane.
It's hanging in there for a while.
Huh?
Highway was great.
Yeah, it
It
looks
was a
good.
non-obvious play based on your rack.
Yeah,
Was yeah.
ace.
Yeah, that's nice. Sure, I'm sure he made a lot of good plays.
Yeah, I thought it was in the game for
Times the time.
a while. Yeah.
Probably the luckiest game I've had in over a year.
You saw Sin type and passed it up.
No, I looked for it though. Like
You
why?
had it set up on your rack.
I know. Y bingos are like very difficult for me. 2 Y bingos are impossible. Everybody that watches me knows the lore, and that I'll miss every Y bingo that's available to me. Yeah, Sin type is very good. Basically, I drew the 2 Ys and 2 blanks, and I was like, okay, I'm not finding anything. Just play like a moron instead. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, keeping 8 EI blank. I might have to exchange there. Because the responses are so bad for the board. I might be better off just leaving all the floaters alone.
Do you know the weird Collins 5 yes theme?
I saw yes, and it didn't ring a huge bell. No, I would choose Pessy. I mean, it didn't ring a.
Seems quite right.
Yeah. I already phonied in this tournament. So
This is not the person to phone you again.
Well-
OG was fine. You had nothing really else going.
no, I think I should exchange. I don't know. I think I was very lucky with how it panned out. Varix's isn't good, right? It's just varices. Right.
We saw you consider the Z setup with Dawn instead of playing one. Then you weren't holding the tiles to play your setups.
Yeah, and it kept a U. It was
Yeah.
bad.
All right. Well, that is the post-mortem for that one. Sometimes you just get run over in Scrabble. And I mean, we even identified it about 2/4 of the, or 2/3 of the way through the game. That unseen pool is just bingo tiles. There's going to be a lot of bingos, but Josh ended up drawing all of them. Dave drew none of them. And 607 to 347 is your final in that one. Josh now 8-1, leads Dave Wiegand by 2 games and several other CSW players by 1 game. Coming into this round at 6-2, Dave Wiegand, but also Kevin Fraley, Chris Leip, and Cooper Komatsu. I think our next game is going to be Kevin Fraley versus Cooper Komatsu here on the stream. We will confirm that in chat as soon as we know. And in the interim, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to top off my coffee. You're going to do the same at home or whatever you're drinking. And we'll be back here in a few minutes. More Scrabble from New Orleans coming right up.